An Ultrabook is a laptop with very specific features and specs. It's meant to be more compact, more convenient, and stronger than average, but at the same time, it should also be versatile enough to cater to the needs of pretty much anyone and everything. We've scoured the market for the 5 best Ultrabooks you can find in 2020. For more information on the products, I've included links in the description box down below which are updated for the best prices. Like the video and don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get started. Even though Ultrabooks are by default high-end laptops and computers that utilize Intel-based specs, there are a couple of models that actually don't cost an arm and a leg while still being packed with top-shelf features. A perfect example is HP's Envy 13, a 13.3-inch ultra-thin laptop that sports 4K touchscreen, a very strong performing processor, decent graphics, and a superb RAM. Let's start from the very top. This laptop has a 13.3-inch display, which is not necessarily perfect, but it's pretty great for the buck. You'll have a clear overview of your work table, movies, games, or pretty much anything you intend to use this Ultrabook for. What's more, it is 4K capable and features IPS Micro Edge touchscreen, which means that this Ultrabook offers enhanced colors, contrast, and brightness, all the while reducing glare and negative effects of blue lighting. As a matter of fact, Envy 13 boasts more than 8 million pixels and sports 178-degree viewing angles, which is a game changer if you're generally sitting pretty far away from your laptop, computer, or Ultrabook in this case. Specs-wise, it rocks Intel's i7-8565U processor that earned its salt among hardcore gamers. So you can rest assured that you'll have more than enough raw power to run some of the most demanding software and ultimately even games if that's what you're looking for in the first place. This Ultrabook also features NVIDIA's MX250 graphics. This GPU is a beast and is seldom found in the middle price point category. It goes without saying that a budget Ultrabook that comes supplied with it will have tons of value to offer for the money. In terms of memory, you'll have 16 gigabytes of SD RAM, which is probably a bit overkill unless you're a studio engineer or a programmer that needs as much gigabytes as they can get. HP's Envy 13 also sports 512 gigabytes of solid-state drive. It trades storage space for faster startup times, which is actually a good trade by any means. You can always upgrade your storage with an additional HDD or SDD. Moreover, Envy rocks 12 hours of total battery lifetime. However, the battery isn't exactly consistent and its strength mainly depends on what you're using the Ultrabook for. The total battery life is lowered down to 9 hours and 45 minutes for video playback and down to 5 hours and 45 minutes for wireless streaming. Even though this laptop is a bit rough around the edges, it still offers tremendous value for the buck due to the plethora of exquisite features it comes outfitted with. Next up is the MVP Ultrabook by Acer, the Swift V. Generally speaking, its specs are somewhat weaker in comparison to those supplied to HP's Envy 13, but it just so happens to feature a ton of utility settings that make it a bit more versatile and well-rounded. First and most notably, it rocks a bigger display. The Acer Swift V comes supplied with a 14-inch Full HD widescreen IPS touchscreen display that supports video resolutions of up to 1920 by 1080 pixels. Even though this is not a 4K monitor, it's a bit bigger, which means that you'll get to enjoy a larger working gaming platform at the expense of detail. In terms of crude specs, the Swift V features Intel's i5-8250U CPU. This is obviously a weaker Intel core than i7, which our previous pick features, but surely enough, it's strong enough to cater to your gaming, engineering, and programming needs without fail. It also sports 8 GB of LPDDR3 random access memory. This is perfectly fine for binge watching, low specs gaming, and back-end programming, but in case you're into more heavy-duty things, we recommend upgrading both CPU and RAM. On a brighter note, this Ultrabook is outfitted with a pre-installed Windows 10 home operating system. This is always a good thing, as you'll be able to make use of its features and start setting up programs, games, projects, and papers immediately. Furthermore, a good operation system, such as Windows 10, typically costs a bit, so we're taking that into account as well. The memory banks of this Ultrabook aren't really commendable, namely, it atop the 8 GB of RAM, it features only 256 GB of SSD, and nearly a fifth of it is already eaten up by the operating system. The silver lining here is that it does feature SSD instead of the slow-running, sluggish HHD. The last notable feature we should mention is the battery lifetime, which most people feel pretty conflicted about. Namely, the Acer Swift V rocks 8 hours of total battery lifetime. On one hand, that's pretty low. However, this is 8 hours of consistent and reliable battery lifetime as opposed to HP Zen V, which offers somewhere between 5 and 12 hours. All things considered, this is an all-purpose Ultrabook laden with high-quality features, so if you don't mind the fact that its specs are slightly outdated and relatively weak, it might be the perfect choice for you. Apple has some of the most advanced high-tech gadgets, and it's all too obvious that they also offer some of the finest Ultrabooks. We've handpicked the MacBook Air as our top Apple Ultrabook. We'll start right off the bat with some of the specs that you are most likely to adore. It features a pre-installed OS X 10 El Capitan operating system, which boasts exceptional reliability and a very user-friendly platform. And to top it all, it's absolutely great for beginner Apple laptop users. It also boasts ultra-fast startup times due to SSD, and you get to choose from anything between 256 gigabytes to 2 terabytes. Another selectable ingredient to this mix is the processor. You can save up some cash and go with the i3 variant if you don't plan on using this Ultrabook for gaming or high-tech engineering, or you can go up to quad-core Intel i7, it's entirely up to you. This Ultrabook initially offers 8GB of DDR4 RAM, although there are additional RAM sockets for future upgrades in case you feel like this isn't enough. What we really liked about this Ultrabook is its keyboard. Namely, it's so simplistic, yet it's absolutely adorable. Apart from looking great, the keys are slightly bigger than average, making typing much easier, although you might need some time to get accustomed to the size of the keys. The display of this Ultrabook is 13.3 inches in diameter, and even though this isn't really exemplary per se, it does sport Touch ID fingerprint sensor and a variety of anti-glare features to compensate for this little stroke of mediocrity. There are numerous utility features on board, such as the built-in camera and microphone, both of which are tremendous quality. Lastly, Apple Macbook Air offers a 12-hour fully rechargeable battery. All things considered, pretty much every single feature this Ultrabook comes supplied with is a representative of Apple's quality, so if you're out on the market searching for a lap that will score you the most value for your buck, you've probably found what you were after. We've opened up our review of the top 5 Ultrabooks in 2020 with an HP model, and we're almost closing it with another model from their catalog. While Envy is a remarkable budget Ultrabook, the Elite Dragonfly is among the finest laptops you could get for business purposes. First of all, it sports a 13.3-inch ultra-thin display. Its size alone might not be enough to close the deal for you, but its slim design offers extra compactness, making it easier to carry it. Apart from being petite in terms of size, Elite Dragonfly is also light as a feather. Its CPU is Intel's i5, which is right in the golden middle between the powerhouses i7 and i9, and the weakest link, i3. It should be more than you'll need for standard business computer work, but most heavy-duty chores will be troublesome to execute. One of the best spec components of this Ultrabook is definitely its RAM. Namely, it rocks 16GB of DDR3 RAM, which is absolutely amazing. There are a couple of things that we did not like about the HP Elite Dragonfly though. The first thing is that it features integrated GPU. This means that upgrades are almost impossible to install, and its performance won't get you too far if you like to game a bit every now and then. Secondly, it sports only 256GB of SSD. Again, solid-state drives are almost incomparably better than HDDs, so that's a plus at the very least. Overall, Elite Dragonfly does have relatively standardized specs, but they're more than you'll need for most business-oriented computer tasks, such as copywriting, typing, editing, and such. Simply put, the convenient design paired with compactness and versatility yield a great combo. We're wrapping up with Dell's XPS 13. This is a very strong machine packed with top quality features and specs, but it's also one of the most versatile Ultrabooks in our review. It rocks a 13.3-inch anti-glare Full HD display complemented with the Infinity Edge technology, just like our previous pick. This model has a very thin profile. On top of that, it sports Intel's i5-8250 CPU and UHD graphics 620, both of which are ultra strong and reliable. We didn't like the fact that Dell's XPS 13 sports only 128GB of SSD, but it does feature a pre-installed Windows 10 OS, a neat little camera, and an integrated microphone. To top it all, this Ultrabook is actually quite cheap. It belongs to the borderline bracket found between the middle price point category and the boutique price range, so it's a wonder that it has all of these phenomenal features on board. Thanks for watching, and that's all for now. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Till next time, see you guys later.